Hello and welcome to a very Star Wars filled weekend.
Hello there.
A moment we've all waited like 17 years for has finally come upon us with the release of the Kenobi TV show on Disney Plus, the first two episodes, which we will be talking about today.
Let's go.
But before we get into the two episodes, I wanted to just kind of talk about all the hoopla from the Star Wars celebration. Obviously, none of us were in attendance. Zach, Caleb, and Bailey here again. None of us were in attendance, so this is all just stuff that we saw on the internet and dug up on Twitter and all that stuff. But I just wanted to talk about some of that stuff because there was like honestly a lot. So I think we would talk about Star Wars Celebration first before we get into the episodes of Obi-Wan themselves. So I had a list of different projects that had been announced and stuff of that sort. So I think the first one that got announced, and Caleb was probably like jumping for joy with this one, was the Andor trailer got released. I watched the trailer. Admittedly, I've only seen it once.
Same.
I don't think it reveals like anything. Like
No.
it's just a vibes.
It is a vibes trailer. That's the best way to describe that, vibes trailer for sure.
But I thought the vibes were cool.
They were.
They did also say that Andor is set 5 years before Rogue One.
Okay.
And they're planning two 12-episode seasons.
Oh.
And it's going to span. And those two 12-episode seasons are going to span over 5 years.
Interesting.
So it's going to be covering a big amount of time. I'm certainly very curious. Like I said, I liked the vibes of the vibes trailer, but I honestly I have no idea what it's going to be about. But I am certainly more excited now, like getting some more definite answers on that. So I'm curious to see like how does Andor get involved in all of this, and is he going to meet up with any of the other characters from Rogue One, all sorts of that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see some K2SO.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
I'm also curious if we could get a Saw Gerrera in there at all.
It's it's almost inevitable. I think it's almost inevitable that Saw Gerrera will make an appearance.
Yeah, that'll be their
so.
cameo for that show, I'm sure.
Wait, but here's the thing. I don't know if he would have met Andor necessarily. He might be like there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to directly interact with Cassian because he captures Cassian in the movie. So he doesn't recognize him.
That's true, yeah.
Like,
that's fair.
Jin.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of who else could perhaps be involved.
What is that,
maybe,
Mom Mothma or whatever?
Yeah, definitely.
Not that I care about her at all.
I think you could probably get ugly ass Cham Syndulla.
Yeah.
Hera's dad, because he's an active rebel throughout this time period.
Akbar?
So
Maybe,
yeah.
Don't they even say maybe I was watching a fan trailer and I'm getting it mixed up now. One of those fake ones that is like Andor trailer released and I watch it and I go, this is fake. But I may have heard the audio, but someone said like we're receiving a transmission from Fulcrum, and as we know, Fulcrum was the channel that Ahsoka used during the Rebels series. So
you just making this up to trigger Caleb, or
I think it would be very funny if Ahsoka shows up in the Andor show, but it also wouldn't be
absolutely
out of place.
Stupid would that be?
would not be entirely out of place.
I never said out of place. I said stupid.
But we'll talk more about Ahsoka in a minute. I'm excited for Andor. Not as excited as I am though for the Fallen Order sequel, Jedi Survivor.
Let's go.
That's the one that Caleb actually beat me to the punch on that one and
I
actually
did.
sent me the trailer. Which again, only watched once, but very excited for that as well. And I got some Cal Kestis themed stuff coming up, but
did you say this takes place 5 years?
This takes place 5 years after Fallen Order, which, as I will bring up again later, lines it up almost exactly with the Kenobi timeline.
Yep.
So I'll come back around to that, but I'm stupid excited for this. What did you guys think?
Big
Is the
time.
guy in the Bacta tank going to be Darth Revan? Because I'm seeing a lot of people
What?
speculating
Jesus
that that's how they're going
Christ.
to bring Revan into this.
Revan's like old
Uh,
Republic. Why would they be bringing him into
Right?
this?
Right? That's what I'm wondering. But they've worked everything around. Like Thrawn was after Empire in the original like Legends timeline,
He kind
but
of
now
was.
Thrawn is like Rebels timeline from before the original trilogy.
Eh,
And now he's gonna work his way into like Aftermath, that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I don't.
I feel like
Revan? Ah,
Darth
God.
Revan would be such a pool. I have no idea
Yeah.
who that is in the tank.
Some people have even speculated that Cal is a clone of whoever that is. So I don't know. There's a lot of like unanswered questions, but my one gripe about this is it is fully next gen,
Who cares?
and I'm like, shit,
I'm
I'm too
PlayStation 5,
poor
bro.
to
Yeah,
afford a PS5.
get a PS5,
Stick up a liquor store and buy a PS5.
bro.
We
Like vintage
I'm
stock
not I'm
around
not
here's got it.
condoning that action.
You
Tempting
you
as
live
it may be.
you live in Springfield. Just sell some meth and buy a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Jesus.
It's a thought. Um,
I'll
some
say.
of the. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're about to be an unemployed teacher. Why don't you start doing that? You could
No,
pull a
it's.
Breaking Bad here.
I would certainly make better money as a meth dealer than a teacher.
That's the one lesson they wanted us to take away from Breaking Bad. No matter what job you have, no matter how cushy it may be, you can always make more money as a meth dealer. We are on an FBI watch list right now. We should probably move along with the conversation.
Yes, Caleb, were you going to say
I
something?
was just gonna say the in this trailer for this game coming out, the is what are they? A Powan? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
It's
Powan?
not the Grand Inquisitors.
No, I
I was
know. I'm just
referring
saying
not
that
to the
he
Grand
looked more
Inquisitor.
Powan than the Grand Inquisitor did in Kenobi. That's all I'm saying.
We'll
That's all
we'll,
I'm saying. The Grand
we'll get to
Inquisitor
that. We'll get
is
to
a
that.
man in makeup. That's
Whatever.
all I'm
Um,
saying.
the other, probably the two other biggest ones. I'll do the small ones before I do the big ones.
That's what she said.
There's a new show that got announced called Skeleton Crew, uh, which there was nothing other than like who's directing it and the fact that Jude Law is going to be in it. Um,
And this is Star Wars still? We're still talking about
yeah,
Star Wars?
it's
Okay.
called Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know anything about it beyond that Jude Law is going to be in it, and supposedly it's going to be uh, have a lot of kids. They said it's going to star kids, which I know Caleb will. Caleb hates child actors,
Generally speaking,
so
yeah.
um, that is one that I think could be interesting. Jude Law is obviously
Isn't
really,
Dumbledore.
it's
yeah,
directed by Matt Watts, right?
I believe so.
Who?
Yeah, fresh quit from Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So there was that, which I'm curious to learn more about because, like, from what I've read, there's very little information that came out on that. They announced a new Lego Star Wars special coming out
Oh, yeah.
I
in
didn't
like
see
August.
this.
All right.
I have no idea what it's going to be about, but it had like a Death Star that looked like a beach ball. So it's some kind of summer themed Lego Star Wars mini show,
All right.
maybe.
Okay.
They announced a TV show called Young Jedi Adventures, which I know very little about.
Sounds
Except
I
that
I heard it's
PG.
going to be it's airing on Disney Plus, and this one I think also will be airing on Disney Junior. So it's
Okay.
yes,
that kind of show.
it's
So it's
probably
the new
very
Resistance.
it's probably very little
Yeah.
kitty. It says coming in 2023. The reason that I bring this one up though is it is supposed to be a High Republic era show,
Yeah.
which there has not been any of those yet. So
So is that going
curious
to be the
about
first
that.
one?
Unless I think Acolyte's supposed to be High Republic era, and that may come out first. I'm not sure though.
Okay. Interesting.
Then there was also a show that I don't know, supposedly coming out in the fall. That's called Tales of the Jedi, and it looks like
Yes.
it looks like there's going to be two 3 episode stories, one of which would be about Dooku when he was still a Jedi. With actually, I think they actually got Liam Neeson's son to play young Qui-Gon Jinn, and or
So
to voice
yeah,
him.
I
So is
saw
this
the
animated
trailer.
then?
Yes, it would be
Okay.
animated.
Clone Wars style animation. Yeah, I saw the trailer for it, and it it looks sick. Do you want to hear what I saw in the trailer, or do you want to kind of keep it up?
No.
That's a good
Cool.
idea.
Okay. I was gonna say the only things they released were like the concept art things, but I saw the leaked trailer and I'm excited.
I saw some stills. Now, Caleb, you will be less excited for the other 3 episode arc,
Let's go.
which is going to be, I believe, 3 episodes centered around Ahsoka. Yeah, so it looks like maybe it covers like Ahsoka. From what I saw, maybe it's like all of Ahsoka's lifespan. Like I saw like baby Ahsoka and like Ahsoka's mom.
Yes.
So I don't know.
The three
It does
concept
look
images
cool.
were like baby Ahsoka, Clone Wars Ahsoka, and then adult Ahsoka. So I think they're going like one, two, three.
Yeah. So those I'm very excited for, which is supposed to come out this year. Um,
Am
I
I
I
the only one
personally
that hates Ahsoka?
yes.
Yeah, seems that
I
way.
don't love it. Like there's some people that are like Ahsoka's one of the best Star Wars. Like I like Ahsoka. I don't love Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for the Count Dooku and freaking Qui-Gon Jinn part
Yeah,
than
that
I am
sounds
for the
cool.
Ahsoka
I
part.
just maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm just literally blown away by how much Ahsoka stuff we have. Like I
There's a lot.
never could have imagined this happening, and I just don't care about it. Anyways,
That
Yeah.
does tie us
I
into the other thing that got announced, which is and this is one that they did not release to the public, but I did watch a bootlegged version of it.
mhm,
They released the Ahsoka teaser,
yes.
which is good, not for any of the Ahsoka in it, but for the fact that in the Ahsoka teaser, you do see a Harrison Dula and Sabine, and it's looking like it is almost a direct tie-in to Rebels because at the end of the teaser you see the mural that Sabine paints in Rebels of the Ghost crew with Ezra and all that stuff. So it almost looks like the Ahsoka show is going to perhaps be live action Rebels. So I'm very excited. I'm far more excited for that now than I was initially, knowing that the Rebels influence is going to be very heavy on that.
I knew they were going to
Oh,
do Rebels. That's why I've been saying don't call it Ahsoka, just make it Rebels 2.0. Don't give Ahsoka the
Chopper
credit.
Chopper has been confirmed for that show, by the way. I
Let's
just
fucking go.
Yeah. Oh, ooh. Sorry, I was just looking on Twitter. They apparently they brought out like the actual practical droid that they're using for
Mhm.
Chopper onto the stage.
Yeah, I
Oh
heard about
yeah,
that too.
his head like bobs side to side. It's okay. This is cute. This is cute.
Yeah, so Rebels 2 coming to a TV near you. I think they said in 2023. But before the Ahsoka show hits, the very last thing that at least I remember is Mando. Mando is officially set for February. I think there was originally talks that it could maybe drop in late 2022, but it looks like it's going to be early 23. They did release 2 trailers for that, none to the public, um, just for the viewers at the Star Wars celebration.
Yep,
But
I saw the leak.
from what I've heard, it is the trailer was very Bo-Katan heavy, and it almost sounds like Bo-Katan is potentially going to be uh, the villain of this series, just based off what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
I guess.
So it does sound like it's going to be a big war for Mandalore kind of thing.
I'm losing interest.
I'm I want to see
Oh,
Mandalorians fight each
hold
other.
on. Here's how to get your interest back, because they confirmed season 3 of Mandalorian. Babu Frick is gonna be in it.
There you go.
There we go.
I love me some Frick.
All right.
I want a Better Call Saul spin-off now with just Better Call Babu or something like that. And it's just Babu Frick going on adventures. That's what
Well,
I want.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I don't think you could do a Better Call Saul style show for Bobby Frick.
I think you could.
He
People
doesn't
said
have
that
the
about
edge
Better
for
Call
it.
Saul. They said, "Oh, you can't do a spinoff of Saul Goodman," and then they did. And there are a lot of people out there who think it's just as good, if not better, than Breaking Bad.
Well, I will say, as a longtime Breaking Bad fan, that I never once said you couldn't do a Better Call Saul spinoff. And it
I
is
never said that
probably,
you said that. I said other people did.
I know Bailey, but I'm speaking for those other people.
Yes, Zach is a vast majority of the Breaking Bad fans.
It's true. It's mostly just me.
Yeah.
Um, so
Clap, clap,
yeah.
clap, 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 clap.
Before we get going then into Obi-Wan, we had a fan request
Mm.
on Twitter to review Top Gun Maverick, and I'll just say that it fucking slaps. That is such a goddamn good movie. But I won't spoil anything. It was exhilarating. So there you go, Dad. There's your review. Go watch it and talk to me about it later.
Well, I'm convinced to go see it now.
I mean, shit, yeah.
That was good enough for me. I'm gonna go
I'll,
get my ticket.
yeah, I won't be doing that.
I get it. Get the biggest, loudest screen you can, and enjoy.
Cool.
Aw.
Cool.
Okay, well, let's get then into Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Kenobi. Hi.
Play the Darth Maul Kenobi clip. You were on it. Good.
Iconic stuff. Um, so yeah, I'll do the two episodes. I'll sort of just recap both of them real quick, and then we can just get into talking about the two of them. I just finished watching them for a second time this morning, actually, just to freshen up a little bit, and because they were very, very good.
Of course.
So first one, episode one, actually starts off with like a cool
Oh, that was so cool.
prequels recap thing, which I thought was pretty
Oh yeah, that was
bonkers.
fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, that was good.
big fan of that. So it starts out with okay. So the episode begins with sort of like an Order 66, where there's some younglings who are essentially escaping from the onslaught at the Jedi Temple. One of them, I think we could probably all agree, is probably
I wonder.
Reva, whatever. I suspect, but it then gets to Obi-Wan Kenobi hiding on Tatooine, working some kind of meat packing job, while keeping a watchful eye on Luke. However, the peace is disturbed because Inquisitors have tracked a different Jedi named Nari to Tatooine. It's the Grand Inquisitor, the fifth brother, and the third sister, who very clearly has a bone to pick with Obi-Wan, as we learn. They interrogate the locals, including Owen, and ultimately do track down and kill the Jedi Nari. But before Nari's death, he finds Obi-Wan, who basically tells him to fuck off and quit and lay low.
Yeah,
While this is all occurring on Tatooine, we meet the very young 10-year-old mischievous Leia on Alderaan, which is a very pretty looking planet when it's not dust.
Dust. Yeah.
She very clearly does not enjoy the life of a royal and prefers exploring. Ultimately, this leads her to being abducted by some mercenaries at the behest of the third sister, um, who proves to be right in her plot as Bail contacts Obi-Wan, uh, begging him to find Leia. Ultimately, Obi-Wan reluctantly agrees and leaves Tatooine for Daiyu, which takes us to episode 2. Obi-Wan tracks Leia to Daiyu, which is a very crime-filled, almost Coruscant-seeming planet to a degree,
Yeah.
where unbeknownst to him, he is being hunted as well, with the help of Haja, a criminal con man, fake Jedi. Obi-Wan finds Leia and frees her. While trying to escape the planet, Reva issues a bounty on Obi-Wan in a very John Wick-like fashion. Like, I immediately thought of that scene
I did
in
too.
John Wick where
Yeah.
everybody's looking at their phones.
Mm-hmm.
During the escape, Leia doesn't really trust Obi-Wan's intentions, but ultimately ends up believing him when he saves her from a fall. Haja then helps the two escape via cargo ship, but in the cargo bay, Reva shows up. She tells Obi-Wan that Anakin is alive, something Obi-Wan clearly didn't know, and that she will bring Obi-Wan to Vader. She doesn't want to kill him. She wants to bring him to Vader. The Grand Inquisitor arrives in the bay, intervenes, saying he doesn't want Reva to lose Obi-Wan. Earlier, it seems like she was probably the ugly stepchild of the Inquisitors. Riva then stabs the Grand Inquisitor, which ultimately lets Obi-Wan escape, despite the fact he's like, man, you're going to let him escape. And then she does, so he's kind of right, but it's also kind of his fault. Obi-Wan and Leia escape. The episode ends with just a flash of Vader breathing in the bacta tank. So that's the rough, quick version of the episodes there. We want to start with episode 1 and just kind of go through what we picked up on, liked, didn't like, stuff like that.
I'm gonna start off with that Leia chase scene through the forest.
Ridiculous, right? How are you not catching this child?
Right, like you guys are paid mercenary bounty hunters, and they're
she
running
was just
like
evading them.
she was evading them. You know, a small child running on a straight line through the woods from grown adults.
Right, and somehow.
And they're running like they're like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse characters. Like that one of them is literally running like kind of like legs spread apart wide, and just going like whoop, 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 whoop. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just
I
run
thought that
forward
too.
and like I mean like I don't want them to catch her, but at the same time I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I can say
hate everything.
by the
Leia's
end
got
of
home
these two
field
episodes,
advantage.
but bro, by the end of these two episodes, I was wanting everything bad to happen to Leia because she annoyed me. She kept running away. She kept running away. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that she's a bad actor or anything like that. I'm just saying like the character drove me insane. She kept running away. She kept running away. I think she ran away like 4 times throughout those 2 episodes. I'm like,
really
just listen to your freaking adults. They know what they're doing.
Know him.
They
Who
were
cares?
literally all strangers. They were
I
all
don't
strangers.
care. If a handsome man rescues me and says that he knows my dad, I'm going to listen to him.
Well,
I'm
you
just
see,
saying
that's
she
the
drove
thing.
me insane. She drove me insane.
That's one of the things that I love about this is I'm gonna jump into like season 2 just a little bit. But Leia, as soon as Obi-Wan steps into the room and is like, I know your father, I'm here to rescue you, she's completely hesitant and doesn't really want to go with him. And he's like,
Because she's
well,
dumb.
do you want to stay here? You know, she's a child and she's questioning like, who the heck are you?
I wouldn't.
And then if you watch episode 4, you know, strange man shows up, takes off his stormtrooper helmet, and says, I'm with Ben Kenobi, I'm here to rescue you. And she immediately jumps up and is like, okay, cool, let's go. So I don't know, I kind of like the juxtaposition of like when she was a kid, she was like hesitant to get involved with this, but as soon as she learns to trust Ben Kenobi, she hears the name and goes, "Oh yeah, that's my boy. Let me get up and go with you then."
I would have trusted him immediately and not been a dumb child.
I think it helps make episode 4 make even more sense as to why she's like, oh, this is the only guy who can say. Like it shows like where she has learned about Ben Kenobi. Like she hasn't just read books, she hasn't just heard tales, she's like experienced it firsthand, and that's why she trusts sending the droids to him. I thought that was
nobody's questioning that. That is amazing. I'm just saying she's a dumb child.
Right, but
well, most kids are.
They are, and it's very stranger danger where she's smart enough to like be quippy and mouth off to people, but she's still also a kid who knows like the universe is still a dangerous place, and if a strange man comes up to me and says, I'm here to rescue you, I'm friends with your father, she's gonna be like, I don't know about that, I don't know you.
Yeah, so let me go run off into a planet I don't know full of strangers I don't know. I'm taking this old man's word, all right? Come on, it just seems like the obvious pick. What is she gonna do, run away? Where? You don't know, you're not even on planet anymore. I would take my chances with the handsome old man.
I feel like you're nitpicking. I feel like she was actually very smart to try to run away from a stranger.
Not somebody who just rescued me. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, but then she sees like he's got freaking wanted holograms all over the place, and she's like, that's sus. I better
The
get a
whole
move
planet's
on then."
sus.
Well,
Well,
yes, but
This
I mean,
dude's
like,
offering
every-
to rescue me. I'm just saying I'm taking it.
If you were in like Las Vegas, you had just been kidnapped, and then some guy walks in and is like, "I'm here to rescue you," and you're walking around Las Vegas and you see wanted posters with the guy who's rescuing you's face everywhere.
Okay, well, if I'm in
you're gonna
Las
be very
Vegas,
suspicious.
if I'm in Las Vegas, I'm not on a crime planet, okay? I can find trustworthy people. This is a crime planet with aliens and dangerous people.
Have you been to Vegas?
Yeah, it's not a crime planet, Bailey.
Oh boy, I've been to
There
Vegas.
are-
It's
there
definitely
are-
crime-ridden.
Okay, but there are policemen. There are places of safe haven. There probably aren't very
Yeah,
many
the
of those on that
policemen
planet.
are the Imperial stormtroopers.
maybe
okay.
she was running and looking for an Imperial stormtrooper.
Well, she's got beef
Excuse
with
me.
the Imperials. I don't think so.
Well, her dad's in the Imperial Senate.
And he's made it pretty noted that he doesn't like them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but he's still.
I'm just saying she's a dumb
Notable.
child, and I would have done everything differently.
I tend to disagree that she's a dumb child there.
Dumb child.
All I wanted to say was the chase scene in episode 1 was goofy and stupid.
Yes.
All the other action scenes, I'm like, this is cool. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. So
I disagree. It was neither goofy nor stupid.
It was pretty
they tripped
stupid.
over a tiny branch.
Yeah, I've seen you trip over tiny branches.
Not I
Look, she's got home field advantage. She grew up in those woods. She knows where to run. She knows where to slide. She knows where to duck.
Yeah,
She's not
right.
taking a straight path the whole time. She's weaving. She's using her small size to her advantage, dipping and ducking under small branches.
And those
and
guys
ledges
are
and things
definitely
like that.
not trying to run full speed.
yeah.
Well, also
They
maybe the
could've-
footing's difficult. They don't know.
Oh, my
right? If you run
gosh.
full
There
speed,
was-
you're going to
there
trip
was a
over more
flat
branches.
plane.
Yeah, there was
saying.
plenty of time.
Look, guys, I don't think you understand what you're talking about, but I'll let you guys have.
Also,
that
she
one.
should
There
not be
is a
running through
trend
the
on
Alderaan
TikTok.
Woods. She shouldn't be running
There's
through
a
them.
TikTok trend right now called
Colic
the
Woods.
Leia chase scene, where all you have to do is just run down the hallway, and then you just kind of move a small object in the way, and then you pretend to trip over it. And that's what this trend was born from, making fun of that scene. It was so
The
bad.
smallest objects are the easiest ones to trip over. You don't see them
Holocaust.
coming.
They're gonna eat her.
She could have set a marker down on the floor of the forest, and these guys
Yeah.
would have been like, I can't get around this. Whoa!
Yeah, well, how many people slip on marbles and stuff all the time? Marbles are small. They're efficient.
Yeah, whenever they're in multitudes. But she was like putting one thing down, and they were like, whoa, I can't climb over this rock that's 2 centimeters tall. Whoa.
Well, of course they stepped and slip on it. Yeah. If you saw like a tree branch, you would go, "Oh, there's a tree branch." But if you saw something that's kind of like low to the ground, you're not gonna see it. So
They were all low to the ground.
yeah, exactly. That's why they tripped over them. They didn't see it.
They were easy hurdles.
Go set up some hurdles at your local track and try and get over them, Bailey.
I probably
Those are
would with
intended
ease.
to be difficult to clear, but these were branches lying on the ground.
Nope,
They
nope.
had maybe like
Nope.
a 2-foot tall vertical at most. That's easy to clear at full speed.
Well, the next time I'm in town, we'll set up some obstacles for you, and you can chase me and see if you trip over them.
I'm about to go out to the woods today. I will go ahead and do that and see how easy it is.
Okay. Well, I hope you're ready. Bring your A game. Other than those guys, nitpicking and hating Star Wars, there
We're
are a
not
lot of cool
hating
things in
Star
here.
Wars.
I thought that Leia also over the course of the 2 episodes, Leia very clearly kind of showed force sensitivity when she, like basically reads her cousin's mind and just like slam dunks on her little bitch ass cousin, who's all like, "You're not even real," and she's like, "Yeah, well, you're a bitch," and then she just like mentally breaks him there. And then later, she also kind of does the same thing to Obi-Wan, where she's like, "Yeah, you're hiding stuff. Quit lying to me, bozo. I can see right through you." That was kind of the Leia of it all. Obviously, of course, the main character here is Obi-Wan, and in this we see a very worn, broken Obi-Wan, which I thought they did like a really good job of. He is in a cave. The Jawas are telling him that he stinks. This other Jedi comes desperately uh, for his help, and he's just kind of like, I don't even know who you are. You need to get
Oh,
away from me.
I
Um,
I have something I got to say about that, but you can keep going.
no, I was just saying you could, and then he's even kind of got like PTSD, right? And he's having the nightmares, and it's very clear that he is, and maybe this is even symbolized like with him burying the lightsaber, but he is like buried Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he has now been Kenobi in his mind, like a totally different
Mm-hmm.
person. And like you see him like try at one point to talk to Qui-Gon, but he clearly has like cut himself off from the Force and
Yeah.
can't. And then I even really like the part at the end where he's like trying to come up with excuses not to go. Like he's telling Bale, he's like, oh, I gotta go to the, I gotta keep watch over the boy, and he's basically just like, bruh, you're kind of being a weenie right now, Obi-Wan. Like you need to nut up because there's two kids, and
Right.
it's not about the boy. This is about you being scared to be Obi-Wan again. So I thought they've done a really good job with that so far.
Mm-hmm.
He's already a great character, and I think they're just really kind of fleshing him out even more.
Yeah. I was just gonna say something that I kind of noted, and maybe there's reasons for it. I'm sure, but so like that Nari Jedi guy. So
Mm.
Obi-Wan was pretty quick to shoo him away, and in my opinion, gave the worst advice. He said, "Go back to the town where the Inquisitors are."
That was bad.
Yeah, that was dumb. But then also, I don't know which came first. If him shooing him away came first, or if him talking to Owen, or whoever. But he was like, "I have to train Luke. I have to train Luke." He's like, "I have." That's why he's here. He's like, "I have to train him when he's ready," or whatever. He said that, and then he was so quick to be like, "The Jedi are over. Go away, Nari. Go get killed by the Inquisitors." I'm like, you
Yeah.
could have given him somewhat better advice. I understand you trying to hide and maybe not have him near you, but go back to town. The Jedi are over. Come on, you literally got that dude killed.
Yeah, definitely don't go back to town. I mean,
And it's
that's
it's
a bad
hypocritical.
idea.
He said no, the Jedi are over, but then immediately it was like, oh, I'm going to train Luke to be a Jedi. I'm like, what is it? Are you
That's
done with the Jedi or not?
that's one of the things that I have issues with regarding the writing is just Obi-Wan. You've described it perfectly. He's kind of sort of all over the place, and I'm like, it probably would have been a better scene if he would have been generous, like given the guy like maybe a little bit of money and been like,
Mm-hmm.
use this, go to Anchorhead, get on a shuttle, get off world, and
Yeah,
keep
that's what I was
running and
expecting.
hide. Like that would have been better advice.
And he's like, fuck off
And would
and
have been a
go
little more
die.
consistent and maybe like a little more hopeful. Because he's like the Jedi can still live on, but just get off world and don't get caught. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I did like
Rip Nari.
that he had buried the lightsabers. He told Nari to bury
Yeah.
the lightsaber too, which is just like super symbolic because I mean, if you think about the prequels, like throughout half the prequels, he's basically like, Anakin, you dumbass, you can't lose your lightsaber. That's your life. Like you got to treat it with more respect than that.
Right.
And here he is. Like it kind of shows you how far he's sunk along all of this.
Yeah.
I also want to say I was hoping this would happen in the series, but I'm glad he hasn't ignited the lightsaber because I
Yeah, I
think
figured they'd wait for that.
Yeah,
him turning it on is going to be a big moment. And there were a lot of moments where I was sitting there, like whenever he was with the bounty hunters and they took his lightsaber from him, I was I was sitting there. I'm like, they better not ignite his lightsaber while it's in this other guy's hand. They need to like save it for the right moment. They can't just throw it away. Let Obi-Wan ignite it whenever he absolutely needs to.
Yeah.
That'll be more impactful. So I mean, like there were a lot of moments I was sitting there like I'm worried they're just gonna have him whip it out like right now, and it's not gonna be like a good moment to do that.
Yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
got I got fit. Yeah, I think when it does happen, like it's gonna be like that. Just jump out of your seat moment. Like I think it's gonna be like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, So yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode. I thought it was I mean, it was very clearly like a setup episode, but it did a lot to build like where Obi-Wan is at in all of
Uh,
this.
I don't know if
So
this is going to be a hot take discussion on here,
I
but
don't know.
I actually I was critical of the Grand Inquisitor and his design overall, but
Yeah.
after watching these episodes and seeing him in live action, I'm more like, okay, I I kind of dig it. I'm
No.
used to it now.
No.
That's not a hot take. I was on board with it from the beginning. So
Like, I think, and I obviously have not seen all of Rebels. You probably know more about it than me. So in terms of how he, in terms of how he acts, I think he's doing a pretty good job. I think he's a good actor and doing good with the part. But I just can't get over the looks, dude. When he walked out of that ship and he had a normal ass head and those super baggy pants, like those pants look so baggy on him. He did not look intimidating at all. And then the fifth brother is a green guy in paint, whereas he should normally be a gray guy with like gray eyes. It's like they just don't look.
I don't think he's gray.
The fifth brother is
He's
totally
brother?
He's
gray.
green in Rebels. Yeah.
Bro, he looks so gray in everything I've seen him in.
No, he's green boy.
I'm literally looking at him right now. He looks gray.
I am too. He's green.
He's
Bro.
a green boy.
No,
He's
that
like
is
he's like Kermit the Frog.
in Kenobi he does. I'm talking about like the animated Rebels. He looks so gray, bro. That looks so gray.
Oh, he looks green in Rebels. I'm
Bro,
looking at a
that looks
picture of it,
gray.
too.
Yeah, this is green for sure.
That is
Um,
gray. Gray if I've ever
But
seen it.
no, I thought they all looked good. I thought they looked totally fine.
They
So.
did not look good. He literally looks like an Asian dude in makeup, and that is not what the fifth brother looks like.
Wow, Caleb, you don't think Asian guys can wear makeup?
No, I'm saying he looks like an Asian dude in makeup. That does not
Canceled.
look like the fifth brother. He's missing the lines on his face. He's missing the gray eyes. Where? How could you not get the eyes right on both of them?
Well, this could be this. It is worth note that this is set, still probably 6-7 years before Rebels, so things could change. Doesn't have to be a 1-to-1, but I
Right.
think it's
But
close
the
enough.
eyes? I just
We should move on to the second episode because I have some
Yeah.
more things to say about the Grand Inquisitor from that episode.
Yes.
why the fuck? Why would
I
they
thought-
try and kill him? What's the point of that?
I'll
Okay,
I'll
we'll
get into
there.
that.
Well, get into it right now. We're here. Talk about it. Go.
I thought the second episode was really good. There was a little there's been a lot of John Wick vibes in this show so far, which as a staunch John Wick supporter, that is very big for me. I thought Daiyu was a cool planet. I am a very big defender of 10-year-old Leia. I thought the Kumail's character Haja was very fun, kind of almost like a Han Solo Lando-esque like criminal who is maybe looking out for themselves but kind of like reluctantly does good. I thought he was really funny. There was also some killer moments here for my feels, like when Obi-Wan tells Leia, essentially, you remind me of. He basically says, you remind me of your mom without saying you remind me of your mom, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then him learning about Anakin.
That was deep.
That was great.
With him being reminded of Padme in that scene, my first thought, I was sitting there, I was like, he's describing Satine, and then I went, no, that's stupid, because they would have shown like maybe a flashback to that at some point, or had an audio play. But no, it's because she's Padme's daughter. So I've seen a lot of people online posit that he's talking about Satine or even Ahsoka.
You
Is
have to
what
be
I've
a real
seen.
dumb.
That
You have
would
to
be
be a real
so dumb.
dumbo to think that.
Yeah.
Right, to watch that scene all the way through and go, yeah, that was Satine or that was Ahsoka. But it took me a second. I'm like, are they bringing in Satine to this? No, it's Padme. That makes more sense. Oh, you completely missed out on the other rip out my heart and stomp on it moment with Rusty, the clone trooper.
Oh yes, Tim, big
Yeah.
Daddy Tim.
As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, this is
Captain
gonna be just a
Rex.
normal clone or it's gonna be Cody? Like, it was one of the two. And it was
Yeah,
just
that was
done.
real.
Was it just a
That
clone?
was
It was
very
just a
cool.
clone, right?
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
just a clone, but fans have nicknamed him Rusty. So it's just kind of a cute name for him.
It's a little offensive.
Well, the other nickname that I saw was Scrappy and Scruffy. So
I would like Bushy.
I think Rusty is better for him. That just
Um,
sounds more
it
cloney.
does. Obviously, a lot of the roots of Star Wars is built around actually like the Vietnam War. Like that's
Yeah.
supposed to kind of be that, and this is almost another extension of that because after the Vietnam War, a lot of these veterans came home, and despite the fact that America loves our veterans, they kind of just told a lot of those guys to fuck right off.
Mm-hmm.
So that lines up pretty well with that Vietnam comparison a lot as well. So yeah, I thought that was well placed.
So let me talk about that Grand Inquisitor thing at the end. Um, I I initially wasn't a super big fan of Riva stabbing him and leaving him for dead because it's not like I'm sitting there going, "Oh, they killed him off. Are they decanonizing rebels?" Like a lot of people seem to think they're doing.
I don't
No,
know where are you reading all these things?
For real. I don't think
Where do you find the
decanonizing Rebels.
dumbest takes on the planet?
I just think, what was the
Twitter.
point of that? They're not
That's
fooling anybody. They're not fooling us.
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm sitting here going because I go to the comment section of people talking about the Grand Inquisitor or like Rebels and the future of Rebels. Like I've seen these posts shared on Twitter and I go to the comments and it's just full of people like, is he dead? Are they decanonizing Rebels? And I'm like, no. Rebels is canon. It's gonna be canon. He's fine. My thing was I thought that the Grand Inquisitor in this moment was out of character, being just very stupid because he's very meticulous and he has a plan. He knows all the possibilities that like could happen to him. He should know that Riva being like the loose cannon is possibly going to betray him in that moment and if he gives her an opportunity, she will. But
Clone, calling it.
also, I only know that characterization from Rebels. So this could have been like his big learning moment of don't trust anyone, not even your inquisitors that are beneath you. So I kind of like it, but I don't know, something about it rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know how to describe it further than that.
I'm
Well, I
calling
think
it
it's very
clone.
not a clone.
Why else does he not look like how he's supposed to? It's because
I
he's
think
not
it's
real.
obviously in there to show like where Reva's at in all of this. I think it's more
Yeah.
of a Reva moment than it is a Grand Inquisitor moment. But also it kind of shows and yes, he's not obviously thinking very smartly there. It is him who ultimately blows it and gets Kenobi to leave there, but like clearly he does not think very highly of Riva, and clearly he himself would probably, he's probably got a little bit of an ego himself, right? Because he's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll take him in. So it's almost more like he probably is being dumb in that moment, but he clearly detests Riva. I mean, he basically calls her a gutter rat, like, all the
Yeah.
time. So he's like, ah, I'll come in here and cock block, take this kill, away from you. Like, and maybe to a degree he fears that maybe Riva could replace him because he says at one point you're only here because of your talent. Like he basically admits like you're good. Like we don't like you, but you're here because you're just real damn good. And if she gets in with Vader and if she like earns this big favor for Vader, maybe that could kind of ruin his gig as well. So I don't know. I
I
think it was
have
probably self-serving there.
I have a question about the Inquisitors. That's isn't outright directed to Kenobi, but like, do you know off the top of your head, was there ever some sort of like contingency plan with these Inquisitors, like that Palpatine had laid out? Because like, the idea of the Inquisitors is to hunt down Jedi. Well, eventually, all the Jedi are going to die. Are they just were they just going to be like, all right, Inquisitors, we're done, or do you think they were going to kill them? Like,
What were they gonna do once all the Jedi were gone?
yeah, I mean, they're probably going to kill the Inquisitors, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just become like enforcers and stuff.
Maybe.
Like
I
The
just
issue
know
with that is that
Palpatine's always about the
Palpatine
big rule of
rule of
two.
two. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I hated the Inquisitors when they first started. I was like, this is such a cop out for the rule of two. It was stupid. They grew on me, though.
But
I admit they grew on me, but I still have that question. I'm like, this does not seem like a permanent thing. Like I feel like Palpatine would cut them off at some point.
I think part of it is, and this is a thing that Palpatine does a lot in the comics, is he's essentially trying to keep Vader on a leash, like
Yeah.
make Vader like want, like basically like neglect Vader. I mean it's a toxic relationship because like you like the freaking Mon Calamari General Grievous guy, right?
Yeah, Commander Carbon. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
basically when
100%.
Vader
Just
comes across when Vader comes across that, Palpatine's just like, oh yeah, I've been training
yeah,
these guys to replace you in case you suck.
right. Yeah, that's
So
true.
like I think the Inquisitors are almost there as kind of like a way where Palpatine can be like, hey Vader, if you don't pick it up, old third sister here might take, or whatever, right? So I don't know what their plan would be once it's all done. I haven't read the comics, all of them, but um, apparently like when Vader like first learns of the Inquisitors, like he just like beats the shit out of them. So I definitely
Oh,
think
yeah.
they
I think.
serve a
Yeah,
way with that as well.
I think I've seen that you're talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I the Inquisitors did grow on me as well over time.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Go
what?
ahead, Bailey.
Speaking of bad Twitter takes, the whole thing about Moses Ingram who plays Riva. Lucasfilm warned her about
Racism.
potential racist Star Wars fans reacting to her like they did with Rose Tico and the sexist fans with Rey. Again, racist fans with Finn and Poe and all of them in the sequel trilogy. They warned her about the possibility. But the criticism that I'm seeing mostly about Riva from these people is that she is stealing the focus and screen time from Ewan McGregor's Kenobi.
I didn't get that vibe. I thought it was
Yeah,
split
I
pretty
still
well.
like I haven't heard anybody say that either. Like I maybe I'm not delving into the dumbness of Twitter, but I think just strictly from a math standpoint, that is impossible.
Yeah, I
Um,
pointed it out. I was like, Riva's been on screen for almost 15 minutes, whereas Kenobi himself has been on screen for about an hour between two episodes. So
Also,
it's
with the
it's like
Inquisitor, that I don't know if this is something that happens elsewhere in the franchise of Star Wars, but like it kind of bothered me just a little bit that they would go from calling her the third sister to Riva like interchangeably. Like I thought the whole point
yeah,
of calling them the third brother and like was to drop the name. Like you are now the fifth brother. You are now the third sister.
mm,
It's like stop
yeah.
calling her Riva. Pick one. I don't know. Just I
yeah,
noticed
that's
that
interesting. Yeah,
because like, do
I guess I
any of
didn't
the
think
other
of
ones
that.
have
Maybe
names that they call them?
they don't ever call them by name,
Right.
but maybe one of the like doctrines of being an inquisitor is your name that you have is not who you are. And if they call you by your name, it's probably like a derogative kind of uh, way of treating them. So if you
Yeah,
went up to like the Grand Inquisitor and you called him by his name, Gary or something,
Gary.
then like, hey, or like I feel like maybe even Vader probably would do that to demean them. He'd walk up and be like, "Yo,
Maybe.
Gary, you suck," and then Grand Inquisitor would just get really bummed out or angry about that. Because
Maybe.
if you're doing a good job, they'll just refer to you as Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, so on and so forth.
I just know
So
that they
maybe it's a
typically like with the
different
dark
thing.
side, the whole point is like, like with Vader, Anakin is dead. That's like the whole
Exactly.
thing, rather than
You
just like
take on
yes.
the new title.
Well, and that kind of actually, and I don't know. Do we have anything else we wanted to add in this? Because that does kind of transition into a
nah,
question I
go
had.
jump into it.
Oh, are you
I
going to ask about how does Riva know Anakin is Vader?
Well, yes.
That was a
Before
question,
that
yeah.
though, the I'm sure you guys knew this, but the girl on the pink haired girl on Daiyu who
Yeah.
gives Obi-Wan the spice,
The rat, yeah.
she's actually Ewan McGregor's daughter, IRL.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I had seen that somewhere. I thought that was kind of neat.
And she says the whole thing like, I used to be someone's daughter once,
Yeah,
right to her dad. It's kind of
yeah,
like, ah,
kind of fun.
wink, wink,
Um,
nudge, nudge.
yeah, I did have some questions. I guess the first one that since it transitions well was like, how would Reva know?
Well,
Because that is a very tightly kept secret. Like that's a kind of a thing. A lot
Like
of the
Vader
novels.
kills you if you know.
well, I was
Well, yeah,
wondering, do
and
maybe
across.
all the Inquisitors know?
Well,
No.
I would think they would have to then
Yeah, so
if she
that is strange. Why would they all know? Yeah.
because it and if I remember correctly, I think they like the Empire like declares like Anakin Skywalker's like a dead hero. Like
Yeah.
he was a hero to the Empire, essentially. And throughout a lot of the novels, um like even super high up people like are
Tarkin.
question it, but like aren't sure. Like yeah, like Tarkin is kind of like I'm pretty sure that this is Ant. Like he never actually says it out loud.
Right.
Like
Oh,
he's like 99% sure that Darth Vader is Anakin, but he
Mm-hmm.
never says it out loud. Same with
Right.
I was
Thrawn.
about to ask
Same
you,
with
Yeah.
Thrawn
Zach.
as
In
well.
in one of the Thrawn novels, doesn't Thrawn know Anakin is Vader just because he's that smart? And it's like a
It,
big deal, right?
yes, it's very similar to Tarkin there, where like they had worked together in the past, and Thrawn's like, yeah, I think you're Anakin. But he shuts up about it. Like he doesn't say anything. So
Because
like
he
I was
knows, yeah, that's
that it would
no,
not go well.
exactly.
So yeah, that was one question, and I guess we probably don't have
An
an
answer.
answer to that.
Yeah. That is strange.
Um,
I thought that as well.
I think this is not really a legitimate question, but I thought it would have been kind of cool, and I personally wouldn't have complained, but I could see how it would probably confuse people. When they were doing that prequel recap
Mm-hmm.
before Episode 1. I was almost kind of hoping they would throw in some Clone Wars parts too.
Same.
Yeah. I was waiting
You
for him to
know,
pop up.
and it probably would have confused your non Clone Wars viewing public. But
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a cool addition.
I agree. Yep.
Okay, a couple other ones that I have here, questions wise.
Yes.
And I'll tie these two together. Well, yeah. So at the end of Episode 2, Haja is sending them to someone. He's got a contact, and that's where he's sending them to help, right?
Okay.
Who is he sending them to?
I hadn't
Oh,
even thought
Is
about
it
it, not gonna
someone we
lie.
know?
you know what would be really funny? If the doors open and then through the mist walks walks the actor from Solo who played Han Solo and Chewbacca.
I mean, I can
Oh,
get
that'd be
behind it.
weird. That would be weird because there's a 10-year-old Leia next to like
Yeah.
30-year-old
Eh.
Han Solo. Ugh.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I don't think they should meet.
Now,
I
I
thought
don't
it would be funny though.
I don't have an answer for this, but we
Mandalorian.
had well, we had previously talked about it. This lines up with freaking Cal Kestis. I mean,
But
and
that'll come out way before that game comes out.
the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like maybe this is almost like a pilot to the game. Like hey, because what was the whole point of Fallen Order? Cal Kestis is essentially like trying to find that holocron to save the Jedi.
But then he
So it
destroys
kind of
it.
like yes, but it would make sense like with his character to a degree for him to be wanting to help the Force sensitive kids.
Yeah.
So I don't
But
know
would
if it would be.
he? Well, I guess yeah, he'd be helping him. I guess I was. How would he know about force sensitive kids? But that one dude, the
Yeah, Haja
yeah.
was sending that first kid there. Which also, this is another little side nugget that I learned via the internet. Um, in the credits, that force sensitive kid, his name is listed as oh shit, Corin. And Corin is the name of a Legends character who actually becomes a Jedi Master in Luke's new Jedi Order.
Oh, interesting.
So it is
Possible
possible that
tie-in.
he could eventually work his way into something. I don't know.
Well, he
Could
probably
become a
dies at the
Jedi,
end
or
of.
he could have become one of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, he might get killed by
It's also
Ben.
possible. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So the Haja question was like the biggest one that I had. Um. And a couple
See,
others.
it'd be funny if it were a Mandalorian, and it's like Bo-Katan, or just a Mandalorian sect or something like that.
I,
But then,
I feel
oh
like it
god,
needs to be a force sensitive. I feel like it's gonna be a force sensitive.
or it could
I would
just be
think
a
so.
guy. But imagine if it's a Mandalorian and they walk up, and from behind that Mandalorian steps a young child, a young foundling, and he goes, "My name's Din Djarin," and he fist bumps Kenobi. And then we get
That
two
would
episodes
be
dedicated
a
to him and how he
stupid.
got there.
No, no.
No. Other questions surrounding Reva.
Reva.
Mostly like, why do they not like her? Why do the other Inquisitors very clearly hate her?
Yeah. What's her beef with
And
Obi-Wan?
why does she have so much beef with Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'm thinking we are going to get a flashback of Order 66 where I, I don't know,
Well,
but she may have been like sitting in the corner whenever she saw like Anakin become Darth Vader or Palpatine address him as Darth Vader, and then she or maybe she sees Obi-Wan going around and he doesn't like notice her or something like
I was
that, and
gonna
she
say
gets
I'm
pissed off
thinking
about that.
if that maybe was her in the beginning, that beginning scene, or some sort of flashback scene we get with her. I'm theorizing that maybe Obi-Wan tries to help her and maybe fails in the process, and then maybe she gets left behind, something
Yeah.
like that. And so yeah,
Or maybe like him and Yoda like send them off, like
Oh,
get like go, leave, run, get out of here. And because she seemed like she had a few lines where she's like, the Jedi can't protect you, the Jedi can't protect you. So
yeah,
maybe like Obi-Wan is somehow responsible for her and her friends getting caught or
yeah.
getting chopped. Like, yeah, maybe he fails in saving her, or he decides I gotta focus on, I gotta run off and go fight Anakin. I can't help you. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's something
or
like that.
that distress signal that Obi-Wan sends out that is basically like, do not come to the Jedi Temple.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan becomes like the face of that distress signal and says like, don't come here. It's a trap. Maybe Reva gets left behind at the Jedi Temple, and she's pretty much there through the end of episode 3, like unconscious under rubble, but she gets her way out, and then she finds like a holocron, and then she opens it up and that recording plays. So she sees Kenobi basically telling everyone, don't go to the Jedi Temple, there's no hope there, it's a trap. And she's just left behind and abandoned by the Jedi Order because of Obi-Wan. And maybe that's what happens. And then
maybe.
Anakin walks in and is like, "Hey, yo, you want to be an Inquisitor?"
And then she looks over and sees a one-armed Mace Windu carrying Grogu out of the temple,
Yes,
and then
yes,
just runs
yes,
off
yes,
and
yes,
ignores her.
yes, yes, yes.
Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah. So that's one big question. Also, I'm not sure why all the other Inquisitors hate her so much. Like maybe they're jealous of her talents. Maybe she is like closer with Vader somehow. Like,
Maybe.
and maybe like they feel like she's getting favored by Vader or something. I definitely think we will get a lot more. And Bailey said
I
Order 66 flashback. I definitely think we'll get more
I
of that
want
kind of stuff with Reva.
I want a special cameo guest appearance by the ninth sister in this show.
That would be lit. Yeah,
Just, the
that would
thing
be
is
cool.
huge.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I bet Ninth Sister is coming back in the Fallen Order sequel.
She
Like
died.
eh,
She
she's
died.
huge. She got
She's
her arm cut off
huge.
and then pushed out of a thing. We never saw her body.
Maybe.
We never saw her get like actually chopped up or anything like that. So
Yeah.
We'll
I was
rule it
gonna
out.
say, if the Grand Inquisitor can survive getting stabbed through the gut, if Maul can survive getting sliced in half, if Palpatine can survive the Death Star explosion, I think it's
Technically
I think it's within the
speaking,
realm of possibility
he
for her to
didn't
survive
survive the
falling out
Death
of a
Star
tree.
explosion. He did die.
It's true.
He did
Cast his
technically die.
consciousness into a clone.
Right.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
If I had my finger on it, I would have done it, but the timing is gone.
Right.
Timing is gone, indeed.
Just
How long do you think we gotta wait until...
re-record it and be like, somehow the ninth sister returned.
How long until we get to see Vader fight Obi-Wan?
Final 2 episodes, I think.
Probably.
Yeah,
Even
probably
though I
even the
really
final
don't
episode.
want it to happen. But
I think they're gonna make it work. I think they'll make it work.
oh,
I
they'll
think
definitely
make
make it work. I think they will, but it's just hard to imagine. I'm just scared that somehow it won't.
You think we'll get more Tim, more clones?
I hope so. I want him to show up as like Commander Cody, post-war, being like, "Look, no hard feelings, right? We're cool now. They kicked me out of the program, and now I'm hungry and homeless, just like you."
What if?
Ooh.
Wait, wait. I want to say it first because I think we're going to say the same thing, and I had it first. What if the person they're meeting is a clone?
That's exactly
okay.
It.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's going to be Cody.
Yeah, it's going to be Cody. Yep.
Certainly very possible. That is maybe actually the strongest possible.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is probably
we came across it at the same time.
a good one.
I got really excited about it. I was like, oh, it's a good theory. It's a good idea.
It's not a bad one.
And the cool thing is, like, having it released 2 episodes on Friday, the next episode is Wednesday. We don't even have to wait a week for this next episode.
Yeah.
That'll be hype.
Yeah, that'll be good. So I'm definitely excited to see who that is. Do you have a non Obi-Wan MVP of the show? Who's the best character other than Obi-Wan?
I mean, like,
I do like Reva.
I was gonna go with Leia.
Oh.
Reva's cool. I was also gonna go with Leia, because Leia's pretty dope. But honestly, I kind of like Bail Organa.
Bail's a good one too.
I think he's like a good personification of like that rebel spirit. Also, I love that moment whenever him and Leia are on the balcony and she says, "I'm not a real Organa," and he tells her, "Yes, you are." And I was just sitting there and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, was that a subtle dig at all the people saying Rey isn't a Skywalker or something like that? Was that them basically being like, if you say Rey isn't a Skywalker, then you can't say Leia's an Organa?
Well, I feel like in the back of my head, though, I thought, I was like, well, I mean, she's not an Organa, and she's just going to drop that name and become a Skywalker as soon as she knows what she is. And then we won't hear the Organa name anymore.
Yeah, but also...
I liked the connection,
fun
though.
Stuff. She names her son Ben Solo after the Ben who rescued her, and we get to actually see the Ben rescuing her. It's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It strengthens that a little more than just naming him Ben after Ben Kenobi just because it should have been
Ben Bail Solo.
Ben Bail Solo. Just names him after all of her father figures.
I think though, actually, she does keep the name Organa though. Like
she does.
Yeah.
For political reasons.
I was going to say my other possible picks. I liked the guy who abducted Leia, Vecht.
He seems
he
had a couple screws loose.
Yeah, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
What?
Then there was also the freaking dinosaur-looking guy who was fighting Obi-Wan on the rooftop. I really liked that guy too.
That was weird.
I love characters who are just humanoids with dinosaur heads. We got Coleman Trebor, and now we get Velociraptor Bounty Hunter.
Velocipaster.
Velocipaster.
So cool.
R.I.P.
They both died in very similar ways. They got shot in the chest and then fell off of a high place.
It's a crying shame. I think that's it so far as I can tell. Did anybody else have anything that was really sticking out? I thought the quality of them just looked really good too. Like, I thought everything looked, and there was a lot of cool background aliens. I thought everything looked really top notch.
Yeah, aside from the Inquisitors, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were complaining about the Leia chase scene. The one thing that I thought kind of looked a little hokey, even both times that I watched it, was Reva running on the rooftops. I thought there were points of her like parkour running on the rooftops that looked a little hokey, a little cheesy.
Some of it looked unnecessary. There was one time where she like
Yes.
jumped and did like a backflip into a front somersault or something. I was like, what was that for?
Yeah, that was pointless.
It was a lot of
No one's
clunky
watching.
wire work. Like you could tell, like she was on like wires doing some of the jumps. There were some cool things, like her using the force to knock something over and then springing off of that as it fell
that was
down.
cool.
I'm
That
like,
was cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
There were a few flips and stuff that I'm like, yeah, but otherwise, like, I'm fine. Also, it took her a really long time to get there. Like, we went from
it took
Kenobi
her
having the
way
shootout.
long.
Yeah, he's having the shootout, and then he saves Leia, jumps down, picks her up, and then they go to the port on the other side of the city. And
right.
Like, oh, crap, we're not going to be able to make it.
I've only seen the episode once, but I swear, and Zach, you've seen it twice, maybe you'll know what I'm talking about, but there's like when she's running, it's like the last time we see her running, it like is a wider shot, and I swear you see her just quickly like running down like in the side, like she almost like jumps off. I don't know if you're talking, but it looked like she was literally on the building next to them. And then somehow they're able to get down and then into the port. And now Reva's here. It looked like she was so much closer.
I want the whole like rooftop thing was so clunky for other characters. Because even then, Haja like shows up on a rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for one shot.
And then he's down.
And then the very next time you see him, he's in the alleyway saving Kenobi from the droid.
Yeah.
Also, the droid who was shooting at him, again, like, disappears while Kenobi's using the Force. It's like, you have a clear line, you have a clear shot at him lying there on a rooftop.
Yeah.
Like, that sequence is clunky. I appreciate the whole, like, using the Force for, like, the first time in forever thing. But just the way they structured it and the way they cut shots together, it kind of threw me off for a little bit. Because I'm like, why did it take Reva this long to get over there? How did Haja know she was going to land in that specific alley?
Yeah. Realistically, Reva could have just jumped up through the air while Obi-Wan was trying to lift Leia out and just stabbed that lightsaber through his back. That's what probably could have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird, but otherwise fun.
Looked great. Yeah, it was all fun to watch, though.
It's a very good show. We'll have to, once it's over, readjust and see where you think it stacks up on our Star Wars rankings. But I think this was like just a very, 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 very good first two episodes. And I'm very excited for what is to come.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shit. I think that's probably it.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay. Well, got a lot of Star Wars coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Even more shows lined up for this year. Books, games for next year. So, plenty.
Loads on loads on loads of Star
we may
Wars.
be getting a Bad Batch trailer today for season 2.
That would be fun.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
Omega.
Yeah,
Omega.
maybe. Who knows?
Omega. Yeah. Maybe it's Omega.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
the
they
clone.
mean Omega.
That's the clone.
I mean, it could be, right?
Obi-Wan. Hello. Hello. Sorry, gotta do that actual Australian accent where it's like hello, everyone, or whatever.
Wow, Bailey.
Little
You're
racist there.
slandering Australia there.
Yeah.
All right, well, the end. Bye-bye.